That's so cool. That's crazy. See, I wouldn't be able to see that focus on without these lights. What's going on, Stone Nation? I am super excited to be able to tell you about my new lighting mod that I got done and installed here in Salt Lake City by VanBuilders. If you've never heard of VanBuilders, they're a custom outfitter that will literally customize your camper van just the way you want it. And if you already have a camper van, you can come here for additional modifications. But what's really cool about this entire story and behind the scenes is that VanBuilders teamed up with Code 4, which is the company that designed the in-grill system with the amber light. So in this video, you're going to be able to hear from the owner of Code 4. I'm going to tell you why I chose to install and buy the Switch SP9100 and how I use it with the new lighting system. And I'm also going to show you what the new lighting system looks like while driving at night. And then finally, I'm going to tell you about my overall experience and what I think about the new lighting system and the functionality behind it. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this video. All right, well, thank you for coming on to Stonation, Austin Hamilton and Brady Bums, correct? And then, so you two met. So first of all, you are a designer and you designed the bracket that holds the grill LED system, correct? Mm-hmm. And so you were telling me a little bit earlier before we started rolling, but basically you guys met, and you want to kind of go into the backstory on that?
Yeah, so initially I was basically just getting started into my job, and this had come around after I had started doing business, an initial start of business with Brady, and lo and behold, I had met somebody at a Toyota dealership who talked about Tony Warner, and so got into touch with Tony Warner, ended up meeting David. And one day I was delivering lights to them, and they were out in the parking lot and basically just spitballing a bunch of pipe dreams about what they wanted to be able to do to the front end. And one of David's biggest things, it was either David or Tony, it was one of their biggest things, they really wanted to do a spin-off of the Mercedes lighted emblem. So it was just kind of a cool little spin-off of it, but I had no idea where to start, and I just literally had Brady come to mind. I'm like, shot in the dark, I'll ask him. Worst answer I can get is no, and he gives me a yes, and we ran with it. So he just did amazing and made it really all possible, which is why I wanted him here, because I could not take any credit just for putting some lights on a bracket that he built. So yeah, that was the main thing.
So what was the hardest thing when you guys were designing this?
For the most part, Austin just said, "This is the end result. Good luck." Long and short of it. And I mean, nothing. My background is fabrication. I grew up in a fabrication industry, and I like to look at things and figure them out. And so when he kind of presented this dilemma, I just like, well, and I was like, it should be doable. So I went to a buddy's shop that's kind of around the corner. I knew he had a couple of Mercedes there, so I looked at those, and I was just like, yeah, it looks like there's plenty of room. Austin was able to bring me up a van for a week and a half, 2 weeks or something like that from Warner's here, and we pulled the grill apart, we pulled headlights off, we pulled anything and everything just to see what excuse me, in typical my fashion, I dig too deep and make things harder than they need to be. And then I woke up one day and I was just like, oh, this is the simple answer. All it really needed to be is a handful of brackets that just placed strategically. And so it was actually kind of cool how it all come together. It was just, there's two big main pieces in the back that hold the main light, and then just simple little brackets that are all adjustable to go on the front, as you saw, that you can adjust from, so you don't have to, or from the front, so you don't have to take the grill on and off. And that was the hard part, was trying to make something that had the adjustability it took a while, but I had a great team behind me that helped me out quite a bit, and we were able to get it all to happen.
I mean, it looks super clean. I mean, as soon as I saw it, so long story short, I didn't tell you guys this before, but long story short, I got a tour and I saw the grill lights and I was like, immediately, I was like, whoa. And I stopped everything I was doing and I went over there and I was like, this is insane. And they showed me how it worked. And with an amber light and behind the Mercedes emblem, I was like, that's so sick. That's insane. I have to have this right now.
Yeah.
And I was like, please tell me everything is in stock to make it happen. And I got lucky. They installed it the next day. So let's switch gears a little bit. Let's get into the specs of the lights. So let's start with the LED bars. So can you tell us what they're the watts, the amps, whatever else kind of specky thing that you can tell us?
So that is actually a part of our Super Slim line. It's a Super Slim 13.
13 being how long it is?
13 inches,
Okay.
yes. So it's a Super Slim 13-inch light. It's a 60 watt altogether. I believe that they're 5-watt chips, and that is our version of a single row. And then the 7-inch round spot that you got in the center is our 790. It's a 7-inch round, 90-watt spotlight that has the DRL built into it.
What's DRL? Sorry.
Daytime running light. So
okay.
the daytime running light is going to be that accent light that you'll have
Okay.
to be able to run during the day, to have some sort of marker light on the front end of your vehicle. The 13-inch lights will typically put out about 6,000 to 7,000 lumens on their own. So add 4 of those up together, you've got more than enough light on the front end of that Sprinter van. Not to mention it follows the body lines great, so which is why we went with the Super Slim. And then that 90 watt, yes, it is going to be sitting behind that screened Mercedes emblem, but the only thing that I could say, which is what we've seen so far, is it's going to have a little bit of dimming off of it, but it shouldn't shroud it too much to where it's unusable when the actual spot is on. Now that DRL, yes, that's going to be a whole new story. It's not going to shine out like you would regularly on the open, exposed front end of a vehicle. So,
But that's not what it was designed for,
No,
right? It was
no.
designed to just be a backglow.
it was
basically,
designed
right?
to be a back
In this
row.
application,
yeah.
In this application. So that is the wonderful part about it, is we were able to put a light in there that's not only function, there is style to it with that DRL, or the daytime running light. So I think it was kind of like the perfect world for what we were doing with this. I mean, we could have thrown any 7-inch round spot behind it, made it bright, but that wouldn't have been.
Well,
it
a
wouldn't
lot
have
of people,
classy, so.
a lot of people are wondering why you didn't put an IP6. What's the actual brand of the LED lights that you're using?
So the actual brand that we're using is our brand. When you're talking about the difference between something like another spotlight, I look at IP ratings and manufacturer quality. Now, if it looks like or may have resemblance to another product, so be it, but it's out there, and that is just what it is. So I know the product for what my manufacturer has given to me as an example, and wonderfully so, because I love using it and it's a great light. But that comes with going through the manufacturers that I do, the lifetime warranty provided. Whatever happens to those lights, it is a no questions asked replacement. So instead of going with like an IP6 or anything like that, it turns into what I had on hand in terms of functionality of the direction that we were heading with it. So,
Well, the other thing on that would be the price point as well.
Yes.
The price point would have been, more than doubled as far as the lighting package, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And for the purpose. And so that the 590s, they just seem to work out great.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys have been in business for approximately 5 years. So where do you guys see yourself in another 5 years?
where I see us, well, hopefully staying just as modest as we are and as honest. I want to make sure that we don't lose our quality. And I would definitely say hopefully in 5 years we're double, triple the size that we are, and we're able to start employing people and giving people good jobs and, trusted salesmen for dealerships out there. And that's what I want to do, is build a trusted company that people can rely on. All that. Whether I'm making money from it or not, it's honest work, and that's what people can rely on. So, anything that you could possibly want, just keep an eye out. If you need us to reach out to you, our contact information is all on the website. The only two numbers you're going to find on there is my dad's number and my number, so you're not getting the call list. Yeah, just make sure that if any of you or your people need anything, to give me a call, and I'll make sure everybody's taken care of. So
Awesome, I appreciate it. Well, you guys have an awesome design, one of a kind. I've never seen it before, and I'm, as of right now, I think I'm the only storyteller with it, so I'm pretty like, yes, pumped up for that, but I'm
Well,
sure
that's
that's going to change here shortly. But, but anyways, keep up the great work, and again, thanks for coming on.
thank you.
Thanks for having
Appreciate
us.
it.
So I want to do a quick review on the Switch Pro and how it works. And one of the main reasons why I got this is because I can operate the Switch Pro on my phone via Bluetooth using their app. And you can dim the lights, which is, I thought was really cool. So for instance, I'll just show you right here. I'll do the top light bar, and then that turned on, and then you turn it off, and then you turn it back on and you hold it. So if you just hold the button down, what it'll do is it'll just cycle through the different power settings or the different dimming settings. So there's bright, less bright, and then super dim. And it'll just cycle. And then once you get what you want, then all you have to do is just let go of the button, and there it is. And then you can have, the way that I set it up, you can have both the top row and the bottom row of the LED lights on, and then I can choose either just the bottom one, no lights, top one, combination, and then even I can choose my amber light. So there's the amber light right there. So what I want to do is I want to cycle the amber light. So I'm going to turn it off and then turn it back on and hold it, and then it starts flashing, and then it'll cycle through the different levels of brightness that you want. So I think this is going to be really great, especially if you're trying to drive on a road or you don't need as much light as, you know, full blast. Another cool feature about this, and like I said earlier, is why I decided to get the Switch Pro, is because I can use the Switch Pro through my phone via the app, and it connects over Bluetooth. So I can customize it, I can change the color of these little lights here. I'm not going to go into detail about how all of it works. If you're interested, there's tons of YouTube videos out there that will explain exactly how it works, but it's really simple. And the cool thing is that you can hook it up to just about anything. But the one thing that you do need to be aware is that these are 20 amp ratings, these first 4 switches, and then the other 4 switches are rated at 35 amps. That's actually important because I was trying to install my ARB compressor to this switch, but that runs at 40 amps. So knowing the amperage on these switches is really important, because if I hooked up the ARB compressor to the switch, even the 35 amp one, the chances are is that I would blow a fuse. But other than that, I'm super happy with the Switch Pro, and I would recommend it. And I believe it's around $550 to $600. The Switch Pro, this model here, the 9100, is I think a couple years old. I don't know if they're going to come out with anything new anytime soon, but this model right here does everything that I want, so I'm happy with it. Okay, so this is what regular headlights look like, and then now I'm going to turn the top bar on, and then that's high top bar, and then I can also cycle through. So this is medium, and then that's low, and then back to high. Okay, so this is with 2 light bars, 2 rows of the light bars. So this is with one, and that's with the second one. So the second one is the bottom row, and I had them purposely aim it a little bit closer to the ground so I can use it potentially as regular lights without blinding oncoming traffic. So when I do use them, I'll probably put them on the low position like that. It does help just a little bit, and I don't think it'll blind the other people. Okay, so this is just the amber plus the regular headlights. So as you can see, it does help a little bit, but it doesn't cut through as much, and that's because the amber headlight is sitting behind the Mercedes emblem, so it actually gets blocked. And then plus it, you know, the aim of the amber headlight, you can't do too much because it's literally right behind the emblem. Okay, so this is regular headlights, and then this is the stock factory brights right here. So again, stock brights, and then I'm going to turn them off, and then I'm going to turn the amber light on. So it's kind of the same, but not as intense as the regular brights. And then here's the light bar, top row, and then bottom row. And then here's with the brights on. So as you can see, the brights really don't do anything. So I think the top row and the bottom row make for excellent visibility, especially on those dark winding roads like this one. If you made it this far into the video, it means that you like it, so don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. So before I get into my final thoughts about the entire process, I want to go over some stuff that wasn't covered already. So you're probably wondering how much this kit costs. So with labor and parts and tax, it costs just under $2,000. The other thing I wanted to bring up was the fact that I had forgot to ask in the interview with Austin and Brady if those lights were street legal. Their reply was that you can have the first row and that would be street legal, but if you have both of the rows going, then that would be illegal. They also said that the amber light alone is street legal as well. So I'm just gonna tell you straight up that I don't know all the laws. I don't know the state laws and everything else. So, don't kill the messenger. That's just what they said. Additionally, we were talking after the interview, of course, is that these LED lights were not meant to be dimmed. So when I use my Switch Pro, or if you use a different dimmer per se, that every time you lessen the power that it was designed to, you will eventually eat the lifespan quicker. So how much quicker, I don't know, but if the standard is to last over 200 years at 1 hour per day, then I think I'll be okay, and they should last a decent amount of time. So overall, my experience with VanBuilders has been a wonderful experience. I will say that they've never actually installed a Switch Pro, so I was their first kind of guinea pig, if you will, but I think they knocked it out of the park. Another thing that I really like about VanBuilders is that everyone was super friendly, they were extremely professional, and they really wanted to make sure that what they were installing is exactly what I wanted, and I really appreciate that. So as much as I really love working with VanBuilders, there was one thing that I caught in regards to the installation piece, and that is that there were a couple of wires hanging down pretty low, and then there were some other wires that were actually touching the radiator. So when I came back the next day and pointed it out, they were more than happy to fix it like right there on the spot. And for me, I really appreciate that, because in the past I've gone to shops where something was wrong and I had to wait like another 3 months to get it looked at and to get it fixed, and et cetera, et cetera. But they were actually really eager to get it right, and they wanted to make sure I was happy and I got everything that I wanted. So the other issue I had, and this isn't with VanBuilders or the install, but it's with the actual Code 4 lights themselves, is that when I turned the lights on, I could hear a high buzzing sound like right away, and when I turned both of the rows on, the buzzing was very, very noticeable. They think that it has to do with the power source being tied in with the actual computer system of the Mercedes, and so there's some type of electronic interference. I don't know exactly. What I do know is that they are looking into it and they're trying to figure it out, and so eventually, once it gets solved, then they'll go ahead and let me know, and then I can come back in and get it fixed. It's not a deal breaker, but it's just noticeable. The other thing that I noticed about the lights is that they do get hot. I understand when you're driving that the lights will be cooled, because air will be passing through. But I also feel that if I use them for 20, 30 minutes without driving, the lights are going to get super hot, and I'm a little bit concerned about the plastic grill perhaps maybe melting or getting, changed a little bit. I'm not really sure. So that's the other thing I noticed. But after talking with Brady and Austin, is that they designed it where the lights will be in the middle of the grill, and so they're not actually touching the plastic portion, so that's a good thing. But it's one thing I did notice is that the lights definitely did get pretty hot. My last observation about the light system is that the amber light is definitely not designed to be a standalone light to cut through dust and adverse weather and all that, because it's behind the emblem. And I get that. So for me, I like the amber light just because it gives the Mercedes emblem a glow. So, I mean, take it for what it's worth, but it's not a big deal to me. But I think if you want the amber lights to actually serve its original function, then you should probably get additional amber lights on the outside of the grill. But as you saw in the video with the amber light as it is now, it's, to me, not that horrible. But I mean, you be the judge. You have different needs, so I understand if it doesn't work for you. But you know, that's just my 2 cents on the amber light. I think with everything else, it's super functional. In fact, if you watched the entire video, you saw that the only reason why I was able to see that porcupine in the middle of the road was because I had those lights on. And so, you know, even my first night with those lights, it paid dividends. And so I'm super happy with the design. I'm super happy to find out that these lights come with a lifetime warranty. And I'm super happy to know that myself or any other customer of Code 4 can call up Austin and be like, hey, I'm having issues, and they'll go ahead and help you out. So that's extremely reassuring. So overall, would I recommend the in-grill light system from VanBuilders? The answer is hands down, yes. Absolutely, I would. Would I recommend using the Switch Pro? Yes. I really like it. It fits my needs. I know there's other stuff out there, so I would just say do your shopping and comparing and research to get what you want, but I really like the Switch Pro myself. So overall, my experience was fantastic. I love VanBuilders. Quick shout out to Warner Vans. They're right down the road. I took in my van because it was having transmission issues and it was still under warranty, but they fixed it. They got me in right away. They were able to diagnose it and they got me out within a couple hours. So I'm super happy with Warner Vans. So enough of my rambling. I want to thank you for watching this video and I hope you found it useful. I'm Young Wah and I can't wait to share the road with you.